How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you're here as part of the teacher education program. I see Octavia is on here also. So I am from Appalachian. My name is Beth Watts. I didn't actually realize that this was the Appalachian was going to be part of this.
I noticed that background.
Yeah, so I didn't think about that when I was signing up, who all was coming, who was going to be here, or who was doing what programs. I was just signing up whenever I could. So
yeah,
but not trying to like promote Appalachian more than another institution.
it's okay. We are all just trying to help where we can these days, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But how many are in this group? Is there just three, the three of you?
I want to say if we're gonna have Buffy and Octavia, that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'll wait a little bit. I've just got to go. I don't know if you've done any of the facilitating or any of these sessions. As a facilitator, I just need to read you guys a thing about how this all works. And then whenever we start the presentation, then I'll have a slide that I'll need to report on also.
Okay, all right. And once we wrap up, do I just turn it back over to you to close us out?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Carly. Can you pronounce your last name for me? Is it Rusco? Oh, do you see your unmute?
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me now, hon? Yeah. And it's just different setup now. Rusco. But I will answer to whatever. It's okay. I will not correct you. I'm not one of those people who gets offended by it.
Well, I want to get your name right. That's the only thing we own, right? Right.
Do we know how to do the videos off? Is it the 3 dots?
You would just do stop video.
Oh, down in the bottom left. Okay. Now I see it. It just seems to be in a different place today.
Yeah, it's right next to the mute. So we'll just stop video and mute.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Octavia. I see you now.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Scrolling to see if I have everybody. Will Buffy be back on?
I think so. She said she didn't get a link, and so I sent her mine, and I don't know if it said it was unique, and I didn't realize it was unique until after, but if it let her on, then I'm going to just have her join again.
Yeah, I think it let her on, and I think she would just need to change the name, because I think when she came on, it was under Octavia. It was under your name.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for Dr. Ray after that. And Beth, can I just test my share screen?
Absolutely. Let me stop share right now. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
That's part of the instructions, so we'll skip over that part.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm moving to.
No, you're good.
I got all this stuff that popped up. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Can everyone see that? Okay. All right. I know what to click.
Awesome. All right. And so we're just waiting on one more person?
Yes.
Okay.
Buffy, if you go in and click the 3 dots next to your name, you'll be able to, there you go.
All right, well, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and get started because we've got about 5 minutes before this starts. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and read to you guys everything I need to read so that then whenever right at 1 o'clock, we can get going, okay? All right, so let me. Okay, so welcome panelists. Thank you for participating. We'll start right at the top of the hour. I'll begin with an opening slide and a few housekeeping announcements. Then I'll stop sharing my screen, turn off my video, and turn it over to you. We'll end this session right at 45 minutes past the hour. I'll turn my video back on at 44 minutes, excuse me, to let you know you have 1 minute left. I'll share a final housekeeping slide. We'll record the presentation and make it available for those students who couldn't attend to watch it on demand later. Just a reminder to mute yourself when you're not actively speaking. StriveScan will send you the list of all students registered for the session and a transcript of all questions in the Q&A within a week. Students will ask their questions via the Q&A. You can go ahead and click the Q&A button now to open the window. We recommend you do not click Answer Live button. That will share the student's full name and questions with the entire audience. Instead, we recommend you simply repeat the question aloud for the entire audience and answer it verbally. Then you can click the dismiss button to hide the question. You can also type your responses by clicking the type answer button, but we also recommend you click send privately button. You may not get to every question, that's okay. You'll receive a transcript of all the questions submitted from StriveScan to follow up with students later. We already did the share screen part. When the session is done, I'll end the webinar. That will disconnect all of us, so we won't be able to chat afterward. So I just would like to say thank you in advance. All right, and so
Thank you.
thank you.
Just so everybody knows, I checked earlier. It looks like we had about 13 people still.
Beth, I believe you're on mute.
You are so right, I am, my bad. Thank you. All right, again, let me start over. Welcome to the virtual transfer college exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association for Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website, CACRAO.org. I would now like to turn it over to our presenters.
All right. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today for the Teacher Education Programs panel. I will now introduce those that are on the panel today. We have left time after we each go over our presentation for any questions. So please make sure that you are writing those down and can put those in the chat feature, because I will read those aloud so that each of us have an opportunity to answer them. So today we have on our panel Miss Buffy Sisk from Appalachian State University, Miss Octavia Little from Appalachian State University, Carly Rusko from East Carolina University, Brittany Allen from the North Carolina A&T State University, Dr. Ray from University of North Carolina, Asheville, and myself, Cheniqua Lassiter from William Peace University. So again, thank you for tuning in. And I am going to kick it off to Dr. Ray to cover our next two presentations.
Sorry about that. So good afternoon. Thank you for participating. We look forward to speaking with you, and hopefully you have a lot of questions for us. This has been a great experience for myself, actually, to work with the other schools here on our call today. So becoming a teacher. North Carolina needs teachers. I sit on a diversity pipeline to recruit teachers, and we need teachers. We definitely need teachers in North Carolina. So a couple points to be made here. Average salary around $53,000 to $54,000 with benefits, and that's one thing that a lot of people leave out are the benefits that come with being a teacher that you are taken care of. And we talk about things that are going on now with COVID-19, you do get those supports when it comes to benefits. So that is definitely a key and an exciting piece to becoming a teacher. And so that kind of goes through your benefits, your medical, dental, visual, earn and retirement. And so that you can retire after a certain amount of time and you have investment made for you. Grow your career. You can get your master's, you can get your national board, and you can continue to move up as maybe an administrator, and you can do other things when it comes to teaching that you aspire to do. Loan repayment options. So for those that might have grants, or not to say grants, if you have loans, let's leave it at loans. If you have loans, there's options for you to have those taken care of for putting service in as an educator. A good life lived in North Carolina as a teacher. It is a good opportunity to have a good life. It gives you many opportunities that you can do. You can travel. It gives you, as I always say to my friends out of state, North Carolina, you're always 2 to 3 hours from the beach, and you're 2 to 3 hours from the mountains, and you're 2 to 3 hours from an urban city. So those are opportunities that you have here in North Carolina as a teacher, and South Carolina as a teacher. And then the cost of living is good for you. All right, so our next thing is requirements, the teacher education requirements. And for all the presenters here today, these are very, most of what we have, this is very consistent for each school. So we admissions to the education program, which you would have to do. You take the practice core exam, an essay exam that is, it is similar to the essay ACT, but not, I don't want to say it's at the same level, but it's to get an understanding of where you are as a student. So if you have not taken the SAT or ACT, this is an option for you, or your ACT, SAT have expired. This is an opportunity for you to get in the department. Completion of certain numbers, institutional hours that are required. I think, again, they are about the same. We're looking at a 2.7 GPA. So making sure that your GPA is good, and that's for high school students, and then for our transfers and our post-backs, looking at 2.7 as you come into the university. And then some universities do have interview process, and that will be an individual conversation that you would have with the universities. Recommendations for clearing teaching license. So completion and approval of the teacher education program. And that it includes your clinical year, which student teaching is what we call it. But the official name, clinical experience or professional year, making sure that those courses and that you complete that. For most, it's a semester, but there are field experience requirements that you will do, where you go into the school and you actually get to observe a classroom, and then you actually get to teach before you become a teacher. Subject area licensure exams. That is something that you will have to take. When it goes back to the praxis, you will have to take that exam. But also we have something called the EdTPA, and this really gets you ready for becoming a teacher, making sure that you understand what requirements are for you, what lesson plans are expected of you. You have a chance to observe and analyze different lessons. And so that's what the EdTPA consists of. And then going back to your GPA, making sure that you have a 2.7, but I always say shoot for, 3.0, 3.5, never try to settle for a 2.7. You don't want to never have to have those issues coming up at the end saying, oh, I got 2.69. No, try to get that 3.0, 3.5. So those are our teacher education requirements.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Octavia Little. I'm with Appalachian State University, here to spend a couple of minutes telling you about what we have to offer. And also my colleague, Buffy Sisk, will be here to also talk about some of our online programs. So we are the Reich College of Education, located in Appalachian State University, located in Boone, North Carolina, in the mountains. So good place to be, great weather. Right now it is peak season for the fall, so lots of the fall leaves the trees are changing their leaf colors, and a good place to be and visit, as well as study. Next slide, please. So on the slide, we have a list of all of our education programs that we offer at the university. You'll see that we have things ranging from career and technical education. So those are usually for middle and high school aged children. And you can teach those subjects that are listed there. Our agriculture ed program is a little bit unique because it is a partnership with a local community college, or a community college within the area, about 45 minutes away, Wilkes County. And so you take classes at both Appalachian and at Wilkes County to satisfy the agricultural education degree. And then you'll see things listed in business and finance, family and consumer sciences. If you want to teach something like foods or fashion and design to high school students, that's an opportunity to work with those students there. We also have a birth through kindergarten licensure program. We have a non-licensure program as well, but this one listed is the one that leads to a teacher license. And so many students take advantage of the associate's degree that is at their community college if they are interested in doing birth through kindergarten, so that they can spend a shortened amount of time at the university as a transfer student completing that degree. Elementary ed is our largest program. So we have that licensure program for grades kindergarten through 6th grade. We also have middle grades for students who want to teach students grades grades 6 to 9, excuse me. For that one, you'll need to choose 2 concentrations. So you'll see we have language arts, English, mathematics, science, or social studies, and you'll pick 2 of those, and you'll be licensed in both of those areas upon completion. For special education, we have an adapted and a general education program. So adapted is for those students that are a bit more severe and profound They may be in a separate setting for majority of the day, and they get some assistance with learning how to adapt to and live in the real world upon graduation. General curriculum is for those students who are going to spend a little bit less time in a separate setting. Maybe they just get pulled out for an hour or two, or maybe a special education teacher comes into their classroom to assist them with a specific subject. On the other side of our screen, you'll see our secondary and special subjects. Now, this is a little bit unique because these programs on this side of the screen are not specifically in the College of Education, but they partner with the College of Education. So they spend majority of their time in their content area, and then the other part of their time they spend taking classes in the College of Education. So you'll see we have listed all of the major subjects for high school students, and then our special subjects are listed for students who are interested in teaching art, health and PE, any of our languages, or either of our languages, French or Spanish, music, and then theater, keeping in mind that this would give students a license in all areas K through 12. So lots for you to choose from, lots for you to change your mind and get into. Buffy, did you want to take this one? Sure.
So minimum transfer admission requirements are 24 transferable credit hours and a 2.25 cumulative GPA is the minimum. High school transcripts and test scores are required if you do have under 24 transferable credit hours and you've been out of high school for a year. I do want to make a note here for those programs that we offer online and or off campus. The step one would be admission to the university, so meet transfer admission requirements, and then the individual specific program requirements. And so you are looking as a transfer student using the cfnc.org online application, a $65 application fee, and again, official college transcripts for a complete application.
All right, so Bright College Education at a glance. So these are just a few highlights. I'll talk about a few things that we have to offer on this slide. So we have the most alumni in the nation with their national board certification. So we're very, very proud of that, to know that our students are going above and beyond even after they leave the university and our college. We're recently named second in the nation for our teacher education program via US News. So again, a point of pride there. We have graduates in all of our North Carolina counties. So if you go into a school system, you will likely see a teacher, an administrator, a librarian, someone that has graduated from Appalachian. So that drives a lot of students to Appalachian to study education because they've had pretty unique and amazing experiences with their teachers so far that have led them to want to do the same thing and come to Appalachian for education. We have 2 residential learning communities that we have to offer for students, specifically transfer students. These are, the first one is a transfer RLC. So that's for any student that's interested in transferring to Appalachian. They can join this transfer RLC, especially if they want to live on campus that first year. So they do a lot of social programming. They have mentors that are also transfer students. And so they have an opportunity to gain community in that way. And then we have another one that is called Transfer Educators. And this one is for students who are transferring and also interested in education, and they want to live on campus that first year. So again, lots of social programming, a way to build community. They go on a mini retreats. They usually, weather permitting, are able to go skiing in the spring semester as a community building experience. And so just a way for you to, meet other people that are like you. And then we have very early and frequent field experiences that are available to students no matter what their major is. So they start as early as your sophomore associates. That usually means you can start them as early as your first semester. And so they continue to increase in and depth of experience throughout your time at Appalachian. And then they, of course, end with that student teaching experience. One thing at Appalachian is that you can student teach almost anywhere in the state. And so we do allow students to go home to student teach if that's something that they need to do, mostly because we're a rural area. And so we don't have a lot of options to allow students to student teach what we call on the mountain. And so we do allow students the opportunity to student teach in their home county. Good opportunity for networking and saving some money, of course, because you could stay at home or stay up on the mountain also. And then if you're interested in studying abroad, we do have an opportunity for students to student teach in a few countries in England, Costa Rica, South Africa, and Thailand. So if you're interested in that, definitely want to get involved with that pretty early because it is pretty competitive, but a wonderful opportunity nonetheless. Next slide, please. All right, well, that's all I have for you. We want you to connect with us. I've listed myself and Buffy's contact information there, as well as our Instagram and Facebook pages. And then if you're interested, we want you to also visit us virtually. We have lots of virtual visit opportunities listed on our admissions website. Do you have anything to add?
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Hello, everyone. Carly Rusco from East Carolina University. I work directly with our College of Education, and more specifically with one of our online transfer programs called Partnership Teach. So just a little bit about ECU. We are located in the eastern part of the state. You can see where the heart is on the map. We are in between Raleigh and the Outer Banks. ECU was established in 1907 as a teachers training college, so we have a long history of preparing outstanding educators. We have over 42,000 graduates, specifically from educators, and many of them have gone on to be Teacher of the Year, Principal of the Year, and Superintendent of the Year. All of the teacher ed majors that you see listed on the screen they are available as an on-campus option. And some are within the College of Education, others are outside the College of Education. Those listed on the left-hand side also have an online delivery option. The two at the bottom, Birth Through Kindergarten and Family Consumer Sciences, those online options are offered directly through those individual departments. And then elementary, special ed, and middle grades are available online through our Partnership Teach program. All of the online options, I know that we may have transfer students from South Carolina online. So I just kind of wanted to point out that any of our online options, the individuals would have to live within North Carolina because all of the clinical experiences would need to be completed within a North Carolina public school. Additionally, Partnership Teach does have separate program and application criteria. Annually, those applications are due January or February. So more about that on my last slide, but my next slide will show you a little bit about the student experience. So ECU is very well known for getting our students out in the public schools, what we say early, often, and then we do even have many study abroad options as well. In the upper right, you can also see kind of a little snapshot of our immersion program, which is a virtual learning experience that allows our students to practice what they're learning in a safe environment and get that direct feedback. All of our students, whether you're in an online or on-campus program, they all have a dedicated advisor, and that advisor serves as their primary contact. They help them with the ECU experience and also help celebrate those milestones along the way. As far as scholarships, our college was excited to offer over $500,000 last year to our teacher ed majors. And the last two things I just want to point out at the bottom right, you'll see just an example of our Teacher Toolbox workshop series. So those are available to both our current students and our graduates, as well as the very bottom, that little picture is a picture of our, thank you, Cheniqua, picture of our Teaching Resource Center. We're very proud of it. It is the largest in the state and actually within the top 10 in the nation. So, and my final slide, Cheniqua. If you want to learn more about any of our programs, I have a few opportunities for you. So the first is really just an announcement that in celebration of National Transfer Student Week, our ECU Transfer Admissions Office will be waiving our $75 application fee now through October 30th. So definitely take advantage of that if one of our programs are of interest to you. If you're interested in learning more about one of our online options that Partnership Teach offers, we have a virtual open house this Saturday and then another one next week. So to find out, these are direct links that you won't have access to yet, but all you have to do is do a web search for ECU Partnership Teach. And at the top of our website, you'll see a link for our virtual open house flyer. In there, you'll find the registration links for those. And then we will continue to offer them in the future. On November 4th, through CACRAO, just like you are today. There is, if you want to learn more about the ECU, just general transfer, the process, the criteria, the experience as a transfer student, we invite you to that session at 11. And then the last two opportunities are if you are interested in one of our campus-based teacher ed majors, definitely check out they're both virtual. That November 4th, I Teach is in the evening. And then on November 13th, the College of Ed virtual preview day. So to get information and register for those, again, if you do a web search for ECU student outreach, you can, it's one of the first items that comes up, and it takes you to our College of Ed page for student outreach. And then you can scroll down, see that I Teach. It will show that registration may have closed, but I hear that tomorrow they might be closing the registration. So if you're interested in that I Teach day, go ahead and get registered for that, or check out the virtual preview day. At the very bottom is contact information, both for me directly, there's my email address, or our College of Ed Academic Success Center. So we look forward to helping any future pirate teachers. Thank you, guys.
Sorry, I'm talking, I'm on mute. Hi, and thank you for listening again today. I am Brittany Allen. I'm from the College of Education in North Carolina State, A&T University. I am the coordinator of recruitment and student success. Now with that in our office is pretty much just what it says. We are the Office of Student Success, and we want to make sure that all of our students are successful in the matriculation while they're here in North Carolina A&T. We can move on to the next slide. So if you haven't heard of A&T, we are the #1 public HBCU in the United States. We are one of the top 50 with social mobility. We are rated among the best in undergraduate teaching and among the best of integrative schools. With North Carolina A&T, we do want to share some points of pride that we are very proud of. And one of those is being ranked #4 in the best value college of education by North Carolina in the NCTQ. Also, we had a 95% pass rate on our Praxis 2 and our Pearson licensure exam. And one that we are very proud of is that we had 100% employment and graduate enrollment rate. So I'll just give a hand of applause for that alone, because every one of our students that graduated, they either landed a job or they went on to grad school. Also, we are awarded over $300,000 in scholarships on last year, and we're looking to probably exceed that number for the following year. So there are some great things happening in North Carolina A&T. There are a lot of opportunities happening here at A&T. We have several career fairs. We also have our very own College of Education career fair as well. We have states all over requesting that our students are come to work for them. So we are very excited about the students that are leaving out, and they also are excited about where they are going. We get videos, we get posts, we get recognitions from all over. Just recently, we had 2 of our alumni who were recognized, one for Teacher of the Year, for Guilford County Schools. And then just on last week, we had one of our alumni who received the Assistant Principal of the Year, both who graduated from the College of Education at North Carolina A&T. Go to the next slide. So the programs that are included within our area are BS in elementary education with grades K through 6. We also have a special education dual licensure program. And what I like to call this, I call this kind of like the 2-for-1 degree. So basically you get your licensure in both elementary education as well as special education. So you have that freedom and the opportunity where you can kind of, do and dabble what grade form you like to teach in. We have several other education degrees that include art education. These are secondary degrees, business education, music education, as well as agricultural, biology, chemistry, English, history, and physics. So we invite you to join the Aggie Educator family. Just a little bit more about North Carolina A&T. We do pride ourselves in a lot more things, especially with our small classroom sizes. We definitely take pride in that, because most likely in your larger universities, you're in classrooms of maybe 100 people, 150 people. So we try to keep it usually about a 24-to-1 ratio. So we want to make sure that you feel comfortable within your classrooms and that you'll be able to establish that relationship with your peers as well as your professors. also within the College of Education, we start your field placement as early as your freshman year. We want to make sure that you are equipped and that you are ready, that you do not just have to wait till your senior year in order to get into the field in order to do your student teaching. So we start extremely early, and that's one of the reasons that we believe that our students are fully equipped when it's time for graduation, because it's not something that they, just kind of fell in, or that they're just, getting their feet wet when they get into their senior year. So there are placements that are done, like I said, as early as your freshman year. So as you can see, we have our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So you can definitely follow us. Also at the bottom, you can see my email address. If you have any additional questions about the College of Education, if you like to schedule any online or virtual visits, or just to speak with some of our students to get their perspective, that is available to you as well. So thank you again for your time, and we look forward to your questions afterwards.
Good afternoon again. I am Dr. Leroy Ray. I do professor in recruitment and retention for UNCA. And so a couple things about UNCA. First of all, there's no better place to be in North Carolina right now than be in Asheville. So just being able to see the view of UNCA in the mountains. I know those who've had a chance to go to the mountains, you know how beautiful this looks. And so this is the opportunity for you to come up and check us out. We are doing some face-to-face tours. If you go through the admissions department, they are setting up some of the face-to-face tours. All right, so what makes us unique is, as some of the other universities stated, that they have something where they have a dual. What we do, we allow you to get your teacher's license while pursuing a subject or major that you love. So for example, if you're in love with math, you can get your math degree, but you also can get your teacher's license, and you can do this within 4 years. And so that's kind of makes us a little different than some of the other universities. That's kind of our whole set that we do. And so a couple of shout outs for us. We were number 7 in the National Public Liberal Arts College, one of the best American best colleges values at Forbes in 2019. And then again, going back to Asheville, it's just a great place to live in the mountains. And these are the licensure areas that we provide. You can see that we go from elementary K-6 to our middle school, some of our special areas, and then our high schools, high school levels. And so these are opportunities for you to get a degree in something that compares very similar to the licensure areas that we have. And we work closely because you will have two, possibly 3 advisors. So you will have your content or your major advisor, and then you will have an educational advisor. And depending on what department you're in, you might have me to come in as a third support. Because I know I work closely with the elementary education, and I work closely with the foreign language students. So you possibly could have 3 advisors, and we all work together to make sure that we're providing you the opportunity to be successful. Right, so you can get in contact with me. You can follow us on the social media places, and then here's our email building contact information that you can use. And again, a lot of the things that you heard, we provide a lot, but that's the difference with UNCA. We are a small university, smaller of the public schools. We're one of the smaller ones. We have a 13 to 1 ratio with faculty to student. So that's a little bit about the UNCA, and I look forward to speaking with you or seeing your questions. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. Again, Cheniqua Lassiter with William Peace University. And so I wanted to talk with you about a bit of our programs offered. So I specifically work for our School of Professional Studies. So I'm working with those students that are looking to pursue their program in an evening or online format. And so with that, we do offer education in the traditional undergraduate program, and we have an assistant director who works closely with those traditional transfer students. So if you are interested in pursuing that path, I can definitely put you in contact with my colleague there. But I am going to talk with you today just a little bit about the School of Professional Studies and the education programs that we offer. And so these are live links to each of the programs. So when you do receive this recording, you'll be able to kind of go through the presentation and click directly to these specific programs and learn a little bit more about them in the curriculum. But these are the ones that are offered. My contact information is listed. I am doing virtual meetings for anyone who is looking to just, have specific questions, want to learn a little bit more. Then I am available to schedule that time, and you can just click that and that'll give you my availability and we'll book an appointment. So I did want to share that information with you. Our BA education K through 6 and K through 12, that is our dual licensure. It is very popular because we are centralized right here in Wake County. Wake County is the largest district in North Carolina, and so we really need a lot of teachers. I was just speaking with a principal the other day that is really looking forward to these next batch of educators to come in and really lead our next generation. So definitely, if education is a path that you are seeking, stay on it. Continue to be motivated. Just like all of the institutions that have spoken today, we all are looking for you to be successful. So that is our number one goal. So as you're listening to us and listening to the programs that we offer and how our culture on our campus is, pay attention to those details because we want you to make sure that you're finding the best fit for you. So just a few fast facts about the School of Professional Studies. We are a private university located in downtown Raleigh. Our specific program has 100 to 200 students enrolled each year. So that just kind of lets you know, kind of that high touch relationship building that you receive with your staff, faculty, everyone that you connect with as a student here. We have 9 programs overall offered in the School of Professional Studies, and that does include our education. And then we too have a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. And what we're finding more specifically with our education program is that really benefits the student because they get a real strong connection with the faculty. So faculty are helping to write recommendation letters. They're, supporting them and connecting them to the different schools and telling them how to network. So you not only are getting, that teaching and that learning, but you're also really finding those true paths and ways that you can kind of connect yourself to the public school system. We are ranked number 18 in North Carolina for best online program. So our education program is designed to have some online course component, and then you have some evening. And then our evening classes just meet one night a week from 6 to 9:15. So we understand, that life happens and life, is definitely is a way for you to just kind of adjust with school. And so we don't want to take up a lot of that time, but so we do offer that one night a week. We don't have an expiration on previous credit earned. So if you are a transfer student, you've already gone to a couple of different schools, we're going to look at what you've completed before in terms of gen eds and see where we can apply those. We also have a discounted tuition rate for non-traditional students, which is a lot more affordable than going the traditional path. And while I'm on this, I will also say that we have a refer a friend program. So if you know someone else that needs to go back to school or even pursuing the same path as you, then we do give you a tuition credit back to your account if they then enroll in any of our programs. And of course, we accept up to 90 transfer credits, and we have access to career services as a lifetime offering to any of our graduates. So we are also an accelerated program. Most of our courses run for 7 weeks. Typically, students will take 2 courses for the first 7 weeks and then 2 courses for the next 7 weeks. So you're not overburdened with taking 4 all at once, but you're able to kind of break that down because, again, we know you may have daytime obligations, you may be working, you may be a caregiver. So we do offer that. And of course, I mentioned about our 6 to 9:15 evening class, and also our high level of support from our faculty and advisors to ensure your student success. All course instructors have been classroom teachers, so they know what you're going through. They know what student teaching will look like for you. So they're here to prepare you for that. And we're also here to prepare you for that Praxis and Pearson exam when that time comes and you need to take those exams as well. When possible, field experiences may be completed in your school. So the great thing about, the student teaching, if you already land a job, say for instance, as a TA in a school, then we will work with you. Our field placement coordinator will work with you to complete student teaching within your building. So those are all great things that we try to offer to students because we already know that you're giving so much to come back to school. So we want to be able to meet you halfway with that. So with that being said, I want to hand it over to you all for any questions that you have for us. So I'm going to ask my wonderful colleagues to come back on screen for us. And at this point, we'll leave it over to our viewers to ask us some questions. All right, so we do have one question that just came in, and I'll open this up to everyone to answer. Is online cheaper for any of the colleges?
I can answer for ECU. Yes, it is currently less expensive. It is a different charge. It's per semester hour. Ours is about $166 a semester hour for our online programs, whereas our campus-based programs have a different structure and have additional fees because they would typically be accessing resources for those fees.
Appalachian State's the same. We're $163.50 per credit hour for the online or off-campus program. Again, different services, less being an option for those off-campus as far as, housing on main campus, meal plans, rental book system, those kind of things.
Anyone else? And as William P. says, I mentioned, our tuition is more affordable than the traditional. We are $350 a credit hour. So that is more affordable than the traditional path. And this is a question for UNCA. Is the Praxis core exam required? And so she broke it down to a few schools, but we'll answer that one first. So UNC Asheville.
So if you have the SAT, ACT, it's not required. But if you you do not have that, and I don't know what the expiration on that, I cannot think off the top of my head what the expiration on the ACT, SAT, then you would then have to take the practice core. But if not, no, you can use your SAT, ACT scores. And I think that's kind of generic across the state. So.
Thank you. All right, and question for App State. Do you have an ASL focused course?
Yes, we do. That's part of our foreign languages, so that you could do that here at Appalachian.
Okay. All right. And here's a question for A&T and Asheville. Will the credits from early college transfer?
They most likely will transfer as long as you are earning, the college credit for them.
And I piggyback, yes, that is something that is allowed, yes. We actually have something that, I don't know if I would have talking about it, but on our pipeline, we also offer what we're trying to get to some of the districts around the state is offering those who take teacher courses in high school to get credits to some of the universities across. So, but yes, the early colleges does transfer.
All right, our next question is for Asheville again. For the elementary education program, is the program a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science?
Great question. Right now, it is not. Neither or is a teacher license. We are in the process of establishing that, and hopefully we'll be ready to go in the fall as a BA program. That is in the works, and we hope to have that up ready to go in 2021 as a BA program of arts. And so that will be the first program in our department that is separate from you getting it from a different department and then getting a teacher's license. This time you would actually get a degree from the Department of Education. So that was a great question. And we plan to have that ready to go in 2021.
Awesome. All right, and this is another great question, and it's for all of us. Do you know if schools in North Carolina are going to need TAs in the coming year? Great question, right? And I'll take a stab at it first. I will say yes. I think, where we're at right now, we're really seeing that education needs all the resources that they can, possibly get. I've spoken with, many TAs now that are really being asked to move into teaching positions, and pursue residency paths. But I do think, there are grade levels that may need TAs more than others. But I do think that we will still continue to need TAs in our public school system. And I'll ask any of my other colleagues to chime in.
I would say the same thing. I would just, if we continue on the path that we are, I think some of the learning labs or pods, whatever you want to call them, I think that's going to be the next push for TAs.
Yeah.
So they're going to need TAs to continue the work that is being done. From my experience as an administrator, former administrator and teacher, TAs are very important to schools in all kind of aspects of things. That's why I think TAs sometimes become the better teachers down the road, but that's neither here nor there. But no, I think TAs will definitely be in. So if you can get in a TA position and kind of learn the ropes of things, that'll be great. Substituting, if you can, jump in and do that. I'm not sure what districts are doing right now when it comes to substituting due to COVID, but if you can get in all those opportunities, I think they're all great for you.
Yeah. All right, and one more question before I think we have to hand it over to our facilitator. Do you know which schools need more TAs?
That's kind of hard to answer because each school has different needs, throughout the United States period. But again, like was mentioned before, just based off the pandemic, people are saying that additional help is always needed. So I assume it's something that's always going to be an available job in your local area.
I would agree, Brittany. And I think, whatever, area you live in, possibly check that school district's website, here in Wake County, that would be our, Wake County Public School Systems. I think it's WCPSS.com. And they, definitely have a list of different jobs, and needs in different areas. So I would say start there and start your search. Okay. And I think that's all the questions we have. So I will at this time hand it back over to our facilitator.
Great, thank you. Let me share my screen real quick. All right. Okay, so thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being here today. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, again, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at CACRAO.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as other session recordings again at CACRAO.org. Thanks again for being here and have a great afternoon.